Ooh. UFC White House card revealed. Is it a flop? Is it slop? John Jones wants to be released. Francis Ngannou going to Netflix. The MMA world's on fire. Let's do it. Let's go! Indeed. Let's go. Let's do this. We are all here. We are in full effect. We are ready to go.
What's up, Mio Simon? What's up, Mio Freddy Garcia?
Mio?
Mio. Miai.
Miai?
What's up, bud? Been a long time, man.
Yeah. It feels like it's been forever.
Pretty much. Like my old relationship.
Huh?
Freddy shaking his head. He knows. He knows, man.
Terrible.
It's like Halloween without the candy.
Okay. So you're ready for Halloween, obviously. You're looking.
What are you talking about, man? St. Patrick's Day coming up, guys.
Aha.
Get into the spirit. You had a green hat, Dave. Why did you take it off?
I don't know. It's hot.
Hey, Angelo's back. What's up, Angelo?
What's up, Angelo? Freddie is here. AJ is here. We are all here, and we got a lot going on. The MMA world, like I said, it's on fire. There's a lot happening in mixed martial arts. A lot of controversy. A lot of confusion. First of all, Max Holloway got totally handled by Charles Oliveira last Saturday. Totally handled. Round 1 to 5, completely dominated. Charles Oliveira wrestled the hell out of Max Holloway.
Did it feel like a BMF fight?
No. Now,
pointless title.
yes. 100%, which we've been saying forever. It's not a real championship. It's not real.
Yeah, but it's for the fans, guys. That's all that counts.
If it's for the fans, what was that fight on Saturday night? And this is, one of the problems that the UFC is having. They are having a real disconnect with their fans. And that tonight is the theme of the show. The UFC's disconnect with their fans, with their fan base, over-promising, under-delivering. And that seems to be the theme of the UFC in 2026. Over-promising, under-delivering. Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira, BMF title, main event. Hey, guys, it's not a real championship. It's not really determining a number one contender for anything. But it's a big fight, and Max Holloway, all his fights are really exciting. Charles Oliveira, he comes to fight. He is exciting. And then what do we get? We got Charles Oliveira doing his best Khamzat Chimaev impression over Dricus du Plessis. First couple rounds, Charles was looking for some submissions. He was coming close. He got that rear naked choke almost locked in the first round. That was exciting. Max Holloway staring at the camera, going like, ooh, survived that one. I was like, okay, round 2, here we go. Holloway's going to be standing again. We're going to stand and bang. This is going to be a BMF title fight. Stand and bang. Just bleed. Give me some violence. Oh, nice. Did I get violence?
What?
Did we get violence?
Violence is coming.
We got no violence. Well,
but it was a good fight, man.
It was not a good fight. It was Charles
man.
Oliveira for 3 rounds on top of Max Holloway. The final 3 rounds, he's doing nothing. He's doing no damage. Did you see their faces after 25 minutes of martial arts combat? Not a scratch on him. Not a scratch.
Why are you so hard on Chucky, man?
Because Chucky didn't bring what the BMF title is supposed to be.
But the BMF title has
it.
no point of existing. That's my point. Like I'm not gonna blame Chucky for what he did, man. He won his fight. I'm gonna blame the whole like hype around this fake title, trying to make it. They're trying to create main events with this fake title. And I'm sorry, like Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira is a great fight, but it's not a main event of a pay-per-view or a numbered event. Call them whatever you want.
Like, pay-per-view here in Canada, Fred. People are still paying $70 for these things, even though the first hour was given away on CBS. So people in Canada are expected to pay $70 for a 2-hour show with like 3 fights on it. Who's buying that? Who's buying that?
Trudeau's fault. It's Trudeau, man. I told you.
I mean,
you can't blame Trudeau anymore, AJ. That's ridiculous. It's insane. At this point, it's crazy to blame
model's
Trudeau.
Been dead for a long time. People in Canada are watching in other ways.
There you have it. Yes, they are.
Like, okay, so let me just go on this for a second. Like right now, it's UFC BJJ 6. And it's on YouTube free, but for whatever reason in Canada, it's not free. I have to go through a VPN to watch it on YouTube. I think I could get it on Fight Pass, and I'm not sure. Maybe it's some type of Sportsnet issue or whatever. But right now, UFC BJJ, I can't watch it on YouTube. I need to go through a VPN.
Good job, UFC. It's not even on Fight Pass? You can't even watch it on Fight Pass.
I'm not sure. I didn't try Fight Pass. I'm like, YouTube. It should be simple, man.
What are we paying for Fight Pass anymore for? I'm going to cancel my Fight Pass. There's jack shit on Fight Pass. Wait. No,
It's
wait.
probably
Oh, I
on
got
Fight
it. It's
Pass.
on Fight Pass. It's on Fight Pass.
Yeah. But in the U.S., it's on YouTube for free. Here we don't have it.
I'm watching it right now on Fight Pass. Not bad. I like jiu-jitsu. But, man, the fight itself, Holloway and Oliveira, it just does nothing. Because as a fan, like as a real fan, I'm looking at this and I go, okay, what does this mean that Charles Oliveira did this to Max Holloway at 155 pounds? What does this mean for Charles Oliveira? Does this mean that he can go up and do this to the champion, Ilia Topuria? I don't think so, because he just got knocked out by Ilia Topuria. So who cares? Does this mean he can go ahead and do this to Islam Makhachev? No, absolutely not. Does this mean he'd be a viable opponent for Conor McGregor this summer? Definitely not, given the style that he just fought. The UFC would be insane to put Conor in there with a wrestler like Charles Oliveira apparently is now. That was a different style of fight from Charles Oliveira. Very effective to combine the wrestling with the jiu-jitsu. Very nice. I mean, I can't take away from his fighting skills and the performance that he put on to dominate Max Holloway. Very impressive. But what does it do for the grand scheme of the UFC? Not very much. The UFC would have been much better off with Max Holloway doing the Max Holloway thing, outboxing Charles Oliveira, knocking him out, or winning a decision, either way coming out on the winning end, in which case you have a fight possibly with Ilia Topuria at 155. You do the rematch at 55. You have a possible fight with Conor McGregor, which I think is still possible for Holloway because you don't have to be coming off a win to fight Conor McGregor. Like, he's not coming off a win, so who cares? But it doesn't do much. That fight doesn't do much. And it also, like, the perception of the BMF title, like, we all know, we can deny it all we want, but the perception of the BMF title, it's a stand and bang, rock'em sock'em robots championship. It's a Nate Diaz title. It's a Max Holloway Justin Gaethje fight title. You know, like that fight, exemplified
Not
what
real.
the BMF title is supposed to be about, and what we saw was not that. I'm not wrong about that, Fred. Like, the BMF title is supposed to be the Rock'em Sock'em Robot title.
Yeah, but it's not real because that would mean like you're almost fixing fights. It's hey guys, we're just straight. No, that's not MMA. That's why it's a pointless, worthless title. But I'll just do a little extra. I agree with pretty much everything you say. I'm gonna tell you one thing I've learned this weekend from that fight is that I don't think Max Holloway could fight at 155. So maybe he would make sense for Conor. But I remember his performance against Dustin Poirier. I see his performance against Charles Oliveira. I think Max Holloway at 155 is not. He's not the same. Like, so Max Holloway, please go back to 145. And you're a legend. Even if you never win back the title, you're a legend. But at 155, I'm not too crazy. Some of these guys are much Charles, especially like if you're gonna put Charles Oliveira, who's a lightweight that cuts a lot of weight. That's what's gonna happen, man.
Yeah, but he did look good when he fought Gaethje at 55.
Yeah, okay, one, but I prefer
Gaethje.
I prefer him at 45.
Gaethje's coming off a big win over Paddy Pimblett. Gaethje's gonna fight in the main event of the UFC White House card. I mean,
good fight
for the world title. So Gaethje's still, you know what I mean? Like, I think Holloway is still a viable threat at 155, even after that fight with Charles, because, given the right matchup, like, I think Holloway and Topuria even at 55 is interesting, because Topuria is a 145 or 2,
Man, it wasn't that bad, guys. Like, I'm hearing you out, and I'm going to tell you something. Even though it's the BMF title, it's all about the game, and I think Chucky executed really well. He didn't want to go toe-to-toe with Max because it would be just a bloodfest. He went in there to win that BMF. He actually took it serious, and to be honest, I understand it's not a real belt, but at the same time, it's something to give to the fans. Like, I kind of like the BMF. I know who's the BMF champ. Like, you know what I mean? It's not a title for a weight division, but it's a people's belt. And that's what the people want to see. They want to see that fight. And to be honest, I like the fight. I thought Chucky was playing like the game really well, controlling Max really well. And Max had he couldn't do anything. It's not like the strike count wasn't there. I think it was 110 for Charles Oliveira. It was 73 for Max Holloway. It wasn't his best striking match because he was on his back most of the time. But overall, I thought it was a good card, man. And I thought it was a great fight at the end. It wasn't what we would expect from the BMF from the past.
Nope.
But I think Chucky executed it really well. He went there for the win.
Yeah.
And to be honest,
sure.
I wasn't sure he was going to win.
He went for the win.
That's
but
not
it
what
just
people
wasn't.
expect of a BMF fight. And look, I find that it's not fair. That's why I wouldn't have BMF fights. But to say that it lived up to a BMF fight, I disagree. Was it a good fight? Yeah, he dominated, man. Chucky Olives is a legend, man, and he put on a great game plan. So I don't know what you do with Chucky Olives. Does he defend this fake BMF title? Does he move up into the... That's why I'm not crazy about this title. I would rather have Chucky fight some contender, somebody in the top 5, man. Let's try to get him back up the rankings, the title shot.
Maybe. We do know who's getting the next title shot at 155. It is Justin Gaethje. He's the interim champion. He's going to be fighting Ilia Topuria at the UFC White House card, which is now called UFC Freedom 250, which
Freedom
sounds like a
250.
beer. It honestly just sounds like a beer.
Oh, man, you just gave them an idea, dude.
Yeah.
You just gave them an idea.
It sounds less like a fight card and more like a beverage or
Budweiser, man, 250.
some sort of retirement plan that the UFC is trying to sell you. UFC Freedom 250. You'll be able to retire by the age of 250 years old.
That's pretty much all our future.
And you get a free beer.
Yeah, that's the future for us.
It is the future, man.
Maybe by 250,
Or
you
kids,
guys will
man.
be able to kick back and relax. Until then, you work like the slave people you are. We are slave people.
Kind of like John Jones right now.
Yeah.
You got to keep fighting, boy. You got to keep fighting.
He's in an upper echelon. He's doing all right. John Jones. I mean, there's so much with this UFC White House card and the fallout of the UFC White House card. There's been a lot of fallout. You know, there's been a lot of anger. There's been a lot of disappointment. The UFC was promising us, once again, promise, under-deliver. Okay? They were promising us 6 or 7 title fights. They were promising
Who promised that? Who promised
Dana and the President of America.
I think it was mostly Donald Trump. I don't
Dana
think Dana
confirmed
really...
it. Dana said it was
For
true.
real?
Yes, we talked about it. Dana said it was going to happen. Trump said it, and Dana was like, yes. 6 or 7 title fights. They also said this would be like the greatest card ever. And people were excited. They were throwing out names. Conor McGregor, John Jones, Nate Diaz, Ronda Rousey, Francis Ngannou. None of those names are on that card, obviously. We know this now.
I never threw Ronda's name out there, but
well, what I'm saying, people, Fred, people were throwing names out there. People said John Jones. We talked about John Jones. We definitely talked about John Jones and Conor McGregor, 2 of the biggest stars in the history of the sport, and they are not fighting on the card. Not only are they not fighting on the card, John Jones will never fight in the UFC again, which we also found out this week because Dana White says he's too beat up and hurt, and he's just not he's not physically fit enough to fight. Which, as we know, is a lie from Dana White. Dana White lied to us again this week because that's what he does in his role as promoter of the UFC. So what they gave us for the UFC White House card, in case you've been living under a rock, they gave us Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje for the undisputed UFC lightweight title, which is a decent fight.
Good fight.
Decent fight.
Decent.
Great
it's
fight.
A good fight.
Oh, still not the fight that we're looking for at 155 here, boys. I don't know what you're looking for, but this is still not the fight.
What's the fight you want at 155?
Tsarukyan.
No, man.
He's busy grappling and doing wrestling. I'm not sure what's his deal. Like, how come he gets to do all these things out of the UFC?
I don't know. I don't think he has permission. He just does it.
He doesn't care, man.
Yeah. But
and didn't he get into a fight at the wrestling thing?
Like, we've been waiting all year. He's the #1 contender. Yeah, he got into a fight with that guy.
Yeah.
The YouTube guy. He's been the #1 contender. We knew Justin Gaethje was going to get this title fight, but still, it's like, I'm not hyped about it.
That's the thing. Like the Tsarukyan argument was a decent argument for when who did Justin beat for the title? Patty. Okay, so there was an argument for Tsarukyan getting that fight instead of Patty or instead of Gaethje.
Yeah.
But now that Gaethje wins the title and that Topuria comes back, that's the logical fight to make.
Yeah, but it's still not the fight that'll determine who's #1.
I mean, right now it's the champion and the interim champion, so it makes sense.
But the interim champion isn't #2. The interim champion isn't really the #1 contender.
I don't disagree, but I'm not gonna be mad about it. Like I say, if you the complaint would have been,
we're still waiting for the fight.
We got we're living in the past right now. Like the complaint should have been done when Gaethje and Pimblett were fighting. Now that that's done,
I did.
Okay, so now we got to move on.
Are you on
the
show, Fred? Are you with me every week?
But now we got to move on. We got to enjoy this great fight between Gaethje and Topuria.
And it's going to be a good one, man. It's going to be exciting. Leading up to that fight is going to be insane.
I think I'm correct to express disappointment in this fight card, guys. I don't know. You guys are like UFC apologists over here. I don't know what's happening.
I like it. I like it.
Dana give you a paycheck this week, Fred? What's going on?
$250, baby.
I mean, I think they're doing the best they can, man. Like you're mentioning Ronda Rousey, man.
Weed.
I did some research this week, man. Like, okay, so Gina Carano, man, she retired in 2009, okay?
Yeah.
Her last fight.
No, that's
You know
garbage
when
fight.
Okay, so you
It's
remember
garbage.
Derek Jeter, the great Yankee?
Yes. Yes.
He was
How
still
can I
playing
forget?
5 years after Gina Carano's last fight. He was playing up to 2014. You remember Kobe Bryant, the guy that's dead, like for many years? You remember
Whoa.
Kobe Bryant? Well, his last game was in 2016, the same year as Ronda Rousey's
For Johnny.
last fight. So, I mean, look, I agree. Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano is a cute fight, especially with Gina.
Cute.
She has she
Yeah.
has assets, a lot of makeup. But she has
Gazongas.
assets.
She's got assets, big
Good
time.
God Almighty!
Assets, yeah. I
My
know.
right.
God!
But-
you see
but-
those? You see those shadow
Assets?
boxing videos in slow motion for Gina Carano? Good God Almighty, pal! Oh,
But
oh.
this is not like I fully understand why the UFC wouldn't really be in the Ronda Rousey Gina Carano market right now. Like it's not a
for
fight
sure.
for them.
It's not
Now,
real.
Where I will probably agree with you is John Jones. John Jones should have been on that fight card. But John
Come
Jones, yes. But Conor
on.
McGregor is so unreliable, man. Why put I don't care about Conor not being there. But John Jones,
Wait,
John
guys.
Jones, it should have been John Jones versus Cyril Gane. But
It
Cyril
should've-
Gane versus
no.
Alex Pereira is a great fight.
It should have been John
enjoy
Jones.
it.
You mean John Jones versus Alex Pereira?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, exactly.
Because John Jones, Cyril Gane, we've done before. We know how that
Yeah.
works. Yeah, we're good on that.
Yeah, but it's
But instead, we're
Well-
getting okay. Let me just run down the card so we all know. Okay, Ilia Topuria, Justin Gaethje is their main event. Alex Pereira moving up to heavyweight. He's relinquished the light heavyweight championship now. Another guy, which really sucks. Another guy dropping the belt basically as soon as he wins it to move up to a weight division above and try to win a fight there. It's just happening so much now. So Cyril Gane and Alex Pereira fighting for the new interim heavyweight championship. Tom Aspinall still technically the heavyweight champion, even though he's signed with Eddie Hearn Management. Eddie Hearn, rival boxing promoter. Is anybody watching Zufa Boxing here in this room? Because I'm not. I don't give a shit. All right. Sean
About
O'Malley
boxing,
is going to be
period.
fighting Montreal's own Eamon Zahabi in the
That'll be
third
good.
main event on this White House card, which is kind of nuts. Like, I'm happy for Eamon. That's a huge fight for him.
some.
I love it for
Ross
Eamon.
has
But
some
you
good
see, yeah, that
contact.
should have been maybe a Peter Yan fight. But hey, great for
Yeah.
Eamon.
Or, not Marat, but Peter Yan for the belt. would've-
Peter versus O'Malley. Like that would have
Yeah.
been the time to use the excuse of, hey, O'Malley gets the title shot. It's the White House card. We need an
Yeah.
American.
And you could maybe get an American win, get a win, because I'm looking at this card and I'm not seeing a lot of Americans winning. Sean O'Malley, Eamon Zahabi, Mauricio Hufi from Brazil taking on Michael Chandler from America. That was a good Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler spot right there, but they're not doing the Conor McGregor fight, even though Conor McGregor keeps saying, I'm taking every fight they ask me to take. They say this guy, I say
gonna
yes,
happen,
and the
dude.
contract. They say this guy,
It's
I say
gonna
yes, and
happen.
the contract. I'm waiting for a fight. They won't send me a fight. They don't want to put me on the White House card. They're saying maybe International Fight Week. Conor McGregor is in the gym training, begging for a fight, and the UFC won't give it to him. That tells you a lot about what the UFC is doing.
Dave,
we also have
Dave.
hold on.
hold
Bo
on.
Nickel
Hold on.
versus Dawkins. Diego Lopes versus Garcia. I can't even place
That's a good
these
one.
guys. Kyle Dawkins and Steve Garcia. I don't even know.
The guy from The Office. He looks great, man. He's a good fighter.
I don't know.
Look,
There's a lot of no-name
think-
fights on this card, man. There's a lot of halfway
wow.
stars on this card. Like Sean O'Malley is a star. Eamon Zahabi is maybe a star in Canada. He's not like an international UFC star. When he
No.
knocks out Sean O'Malley at the White House, he's gonna be a star. But right now, this isn't like a mega star fight. But I do think Eamon is gonna beat the shit out of Sean O'Malley, and it's gonna be tremendous. Just Canadian flag flying at the White House, just kicking ass. It's going to be good. Michael Chandler, Mauricio Hufi. I think Hufi is going to beat Chandler. I think Pereira, Cyril Gane, whatever. It's a Brazilian and a Frenchman. Who cares there? Ilia Topuria is going to knock Justin Gaethje out cold. The only American fighting for a championship is going to be knocked unconscious by a Spaniard on the White House lawn on America's celebration. Bo Nickel, Kyle Dacus, you're guaranteed an American winner there because they're both Americans, so who cares? And Diego Lopes and Steve Garcia. Steve Garcia, he's from New Mexico, but his name's Garcia. He may get deported. You never know. Diego Lopes is...
Come on, man. Us Garcias, we're American at heart. I always say.
Yeah, well, Fred, don't go to America. They might mistake you and send you to Guantanamo Bay.
N'oubliez pas, vous êtes Québécois, Freddie. Don't forget.
Pledge allegiance to the
Oh my God! Don't. Diego Lopes is from Brazil, but fights out of Mexico, so he's in danger of deportation. He's fighting on that card. He's probably going to win too. I think he beats Steve Garcia. I think a lot of, when it's America versus another guy from another country, I think America's going to lose every time, or pretty much every time, which is not a great look for the UFC. They, they put together this card. It's okay for like a pay-per-view. It's pretty good. You got Topuria and Pereira on the same card. That's pretty good. But the UFC...
Sean O'Malley, come on, Dave.
Yeah,
there's some good
for
names.
Sure.
You got Chandler. You got like Bo Nickel.
It's
you know what I mean?
okay.
It's going to be exciting.
It's okay.
But listen, hear me out
but
for
they
one
were
thing.
Promising...
But that's what I'm saying, Dave. This is my... Listen, let me
Come
put
on.
in my 4th of July
We thought this was going to be WrestleMania, and it turned out to be Survivor Series.
Listen, they don't call it Freedom 250 for no
Freedom
reason,
35,
man.
brother.
Freedom 250 is going to deliver. You know why? Because I think they're keeping the cat in the box on this one. And I really believe the closer we get to the fight, I think they've announced or they know who's going to be there. And I really think Conor is going to pop out of there, man. I think Conor is going to be on that fight card. I think we're going to be surprised. They're going to go that you can't just have an average fight card. People are saying the same thing. Everybody's saying we need to have a bigger card. There's something missing. And that missing is Conor McGregor. And I'm telling you, it's going to happen, dude. I'm telling you, they don't call it Freedom 250 for no reason. This is all about the Conor show. And you can't get a bigger Conor show than Donald Trump, Dana White, and Conor all sitting down at a table talking. I'm telling you.
Well, that's not going to happen. That's just silly talk.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
It's going to happen, dude. It's going to happen.
You want to bet?
Listen, man, I predicted a lot of things, and they came out right.
How much you want to bet?
What do you want to bet?
He's not fighting on the White House card. If he was fighting on the White House card, they would have announced
Speak to me.
What date is that?
They're going to keep
White House card?
It's
June 14th.
Lots of time, Dave.
So 3
Lots
months.
of time.
Mm-hmm.
It would have to be announced in the next month, probably. But
okay,
That's
it's not
exactly
happening.
what's going to happen.
No, they're talking about Conor for International Fight Week in July.
Nah.
Okay, don't believe me. I
do believe you.
We'll find out.
But I have a feeling that there's this. This has to be big. You know, you got to go home, go big or go home, as they say. And I really believe, like, everybody's saying the same thing, man. This is a White House card, once in a lifetime thing. Never gonna happen again with no other president. This is going to be big, and I really think that they're keeping like that Jack in the Box, and it's going to be Conor popping out. I'm telling you, man. There's going to be a big surprise.
Okay. Well, I hope you're right. I think you're wrong, but, that's par for the course. I hope you're right, though, AJ. That'd be great. Not going to happen.
Wake up, Conor.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be amazing if it did happen? Like, honestly. It would go wild, man.
Yeah, it would be, but I think it's going to happen in July. Anyways, so John Jones was supposed to fight Alex Pereira on this card. It was going to be the main event. It didn't happen. They were also trying to get Islam Makhachev, apparently, to fight Ilia Topuria, but they couldn't get that done. So instead, we get this card, which is, fine. It's fine, but I don't think it got anybody really excited. I don't think you saw this card and you went, oh, sick. I think you saw this card. Like, I saw it Saturday night and I went, oh, okay.
Oh, Dave, man, you got Topuria coming back. You got Alex Pereira, man. It's like,
if we go through, like, like John Jones would have been cool. But let's be honest, John Jones is pretty much retired. Ronda Rousey, I don't care. Conor McGregor, as I say, he's unreliable right now. And he's not even like, he's not important, man. He's been inactive for so long. So those are freak show fights. Like if they would have put Conor versus Nick Diaz, yeah, it would have sold it. It would have been fun, but it's not an important fight. I feel with the current roster, they did a pretty good job. Like maybe Islam versus Topuria would have been better, but then again, I'm not sure I want to see Topuria go all the way up to 170. So with the current roster, I feel they did a decent job. The undercard could have been better. Like that, I'll agree with you. Like some of these undercard fights are, not too sure about it.
Who's the main on the undercard?
I'm not sure of the fight order.
What do you mean the main on the undercard? I think it's just one long card.
Just one? That's what I'm telling you, man. I think there's going to be
No, I think it's just one chunk.
That's what I'm saying. There's still going to be this is a circus card, man, and the circus hasn't finished yet. I thought something crazy could have happened with Ngannou being out there. You got John Jones, and man, you bring Ngannou and John Jones back at it again. That would have been a circus fight, I think the biggest winner out of all this, you hear me, is MVP, man, and Jake and Logan Paul, man. These guys,
yes,
are a legitimate threat to the UFC. These guys are the real winners out of this.
I think you're right, because after this UFC card, there was a lot of discontent. And I want to start first with John Jones, and then I'm going to go with some quotes from Ronda Rousey, okay? John Jones, Dana White came out and said, John Jones, he's got arthritis in his hip. He can't run. We were never talking to John Jones seriously about making this fight. It was never the case. We were never going to do this. John Jones wasn't in the conversation, and his hip is busted, and he'll never fight again, and he's done. John Jones, by the way, who's got 6 fights left on his UFC contract, who is now stuck with the UFC. Stuck. And again, I keep telling all MMA fans, when you watch your favorite fighters and you think that they're on their way out, do not tell them to retire. Tell the UFC to release them. Because they don't want to retire with fights left on their contract, because then they are stuck to the UFC forever. They want to do a grappling match. They got to ask Uncle Dana. They want to do a boxing match. They got to ask Uncle Dana. When George St. Pierre was offered to fight Oscar De La Hoya, the UFC said no. He was retired, but couldn't do it. I have seen this story play out time and time again. This is not anything new. When I saw it play out with George St. Pierre, the greatest of all time, I knew if they could do this to GSP, the fact that they did that to GSP, that they locked him up, that they barred him, that they kept him under contract. GSP was the best guy they could ever have. He brought the sport forward. He was a company man. He was a gentleman. He won all his fights. He sold pay-per-views. You look great.
But he didn't defend, and that's the problem.
Well, he defended quite a bit. But not enough for Uncle Dana. Not enough for the UFC. They always wanted more. They wanted to bleed you dry. He needed to take some time off. Couldn't get it. They wanted to bleed him dry. And then, when they couldn't bleed him anymore, they decided to keep him under contract forever and block any opportunity that he had to do anything outside of Zufa and the UFC.
The invasion is coming.
Yeah, I got invaded.
Like Johnny said. Look how cute she is. Get rid of.
Oh my God, pure invasion.
Dave, hand over the reign, man.
I might have to. Oh my God.
Tell her if she wants to see Conor. Tell her if she wants to see Conor.
Hang on
back.
A second. I got to do something. I'll be back. I got to lift a little monkey. Get over here.
Hello. She's so cute.
Get over here, monkey.
But Freddie, let's be honest, man. It's still, this fight has to be a circus fight. We're missing one part of the circus, man. We need the Conor in there, and I really believe we're going to get something something's going to be thrown in. It can't just be this if there's no prelim card. You're
Sorry.
in trouble later on, Dave.
Me?
Yep.
Why?
She's such a cutie, dude.
Yeah, I know. She's good. She's got me. It's just, they keep you under contract forever. And now Jon Jones is probably stuck. He wants to be released. They're not going to release him. He's stuck. He's screwed. That's how it works. So Dana White says, Jon Jones, he can't run. He can't fight. We never wanted him. He's no good anymore. Jon Jones responds on Twitter. This is what Jon Jones says. Hey, everyone. I wanted to address Dana White's comments from this past weekend because the truth matters to me and the fans. Dana, you were heated about why I'm not on the White House card, but let's clear something up. My team and I were actually negotiating with the UFC for that fight. Real negotiations. I even came down from my original number. And what was I offered in return? I was lowballed. Yes, I have arthritis in my hip, and it's painful. But that doesn't mean I can't fight. So let me get this straight. If I had accepted the lowball offer, suddenly my hip would be fine and I'd be on the White House card? That doesn't make sense. I even received stem cell treatment last week to get ready for the White House card, and training camp was scheduled to start today. I was preparing to be ready. I understand business deals fall through sometimes, but going out publicly and saying things that aren't true isn't right. After everything I've given to the UFC, the years, the title defenses, the fights, hearing that I'm done is disappointing. Especially when as recently as Friday, UFC was calling me, trying to get me on that White House card for a much lower number.
What?
Friday, the day before they announced this thing. If the UFC truly feels like I'm done, then I respectfully ask to be released from my contract today. No more spins, no more games. Thank you to the real fans who know what's up. You're welcome. Bones out. See, the real fans know what's up. The real fans know what the UFC is doing to the greatest mixed martial artist really that's ever lived, the most dominant fighter that's ever been in the UFC. A guy that has been a top draw for the company for like 15 years. A guy whose run will never be matched. Is now asking to be released from the UFC because they don't want to offer him any more fights. And the UFC is not going to release him because he could go walk over to that MVP Netflix show and fight Francis Ngannou.
You're right.
And they could do the big fight to determine who the real heavyweight champion is in MMA. And the UFC wouldn't like that too much. So Jon Jones is going to stay right where he is. At home in New Mexico, under contract to the UFC, inactive, retired. In the UFC, you don't decide when you're done. They do. This week, Dana White decided that Jon Jones, I'm not going to put it all on Dana because, as Ronda Rousey points out, he's just an employee. It's not Dana's fault. It's Ari Emanuel's fault.
Ooh.
Ari Emanuel and the people that run TKO, Mark Shapiro, these people retired Jon Jones this week. These billionaires decided that the greatest MMA fighter of all time is retired. They didn't ask him. They didn't call him. Nothing. They said, we don't want to pay you. You're done. You don't get to fight anymore. In what sport does that happen? In what other form of entertainment does that happen? It's disgusting. The fact that they could do this to people like George St. Pierre and Jon Jones should upset and disgust every MMA fan. If you watch the UFC, if you actually like these fighters like you claim to do, if you care in any way about the athletes, you should be pretty pissed. I'm pretty pissed. The fact that they continue to do this is gross. Now, did Jon Jones have to sign an 8-fight contract like 3 years ago? No.
But that's the thing. Why do they need to negotiate the number right now?
They need to start signing one-fight deals only. If you're worth anything in the UFC, you sign a one-fight deal.
But I mean, if he has like 6 fights on his contract right now, the number should be set already in stone. I think where the problem is probably because he used to get pay-per-view points, and now without the pay-per-view points,
they got to renegotiate.
But it comes. I don't know how much they would offer him and things like that. Look,
well,
I agree. Jon Jones.
Here's the report, Fred. I'll tell you numbers, just so you're clear on like the numbers. The report was, I think Ariel Helwani reported the number was Jones was initially offered to fight Aspinall was 30 mil. And he said yes, and then he said no. And then things happened and whatever. Aspinall fought Gann. Then Jones for this fight was offered less, like 20 to 25. Or I think it was, it might have been even less than that. I think it was maybe in the like 15 million range, which is what that guy Conor Benn got, the boxer, to come sign for one fight with Zufa Boxing, which has upset a lot of the UFC fighters. A lot of the UFC fighters go, wait a second, Zufa Boxing really only exists because of the UFC. We are UFC fighters. We are the ones making this company what it is. Why are we not getting paid anywhere near what this boxing guy is getting paid off our blood, sweat, and tears? If the MMA fighters grew this brand, if you built this company, and then they make this other company, and they're signing this other guy for way more money to do the same job, you go, what the hell is that? So a lot of the UFC fighters are going, what the hell is that? So the Conor Benn thing, Zufa Boxing has really screwed up the game for the UFC. Because now all their fighters go, whoa, 15 million, that's my minimum. And Jon Jones, he's worth way more than Conor Benn. Who the hell is Conor Benn? So for the UFC to be like, yo, you're going to get 15, worth 100. Because Conor Benn is worth 15, so I'm worth 115. I'm Jon Jones, I'm the greatest of all time. You want me to fight on the White House card? It's 115 million. You're getting Jon Jones for a steal at 30 million. That is a lowball offer even still, and he's willing to take it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
He's worth 100 million more than Conor Benn for a fight. Conor Benn? Who? We're talking about Johnny Bones Jones. We're talking about Conor McGregor. Don't you think Conor McGregor's going to look at that Conor Benn number and go, you're fucking kidding.
It's true.
You're
on. Absolutely right.
How much do you think Conor McGregor's worth? If Conor Benn is worth 15 mil, how much is Conor McGregor worth? 15 bill? You know? Like, it's crazy.
DJ says it right, man. He's right. You know, if it continues at this rate and it ends up like boxing, you know, what saved boxing? Jake Paul? Mike Tyson coming back? You know,
fighters need to stop signing long-term contracts with the UFC. That's step one. They got to stop doing it. If you're worth anything, if you're Sean O'Malley, if you're on this White House card in the first 3 fights, you got to not sign a long-term contract with them. Next time contract negotiations come around, you sign a short-term deal. And if you're afraid, if you're worried, look at Francis Ngannou. He made it work. He got to do 2 big boxing matches. He made a ton of money. He signed a PFL contract. That was weird. He only fought once for the PFL. That was weird. Then they released him for some reason. I don't know what went on with the PFL, but whatever. Francis made his money. Francis made his money. And now he's making more money in the co-main event of the Netflix MVP card, Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano. And you could say, well, the Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano fight isn't real and it's whatever. And that's true. It's not a great fight. It's not. It's not like, and really, it seems to be like no heat between Ronda and Gina. Seems like they're more friendly than anything. This almost feels like a work. Like it doesn't feel real. Are they going to fight or are they just going to hug? Like, I don't understand. They seem so friendly and nice to each other. I don't know. Like, is Gina going to come in and try to hurt Ronda? Does she, like, I feel like Gina knows what she's in for. Like, Gina's not really training MMA. She knows what's going to happen. What's the weight that this fight's at, too? I have no idea. Like, I wonder. What are they, 145?
145.
Is it 145?
145. But you see, my favorite thing you just
Gina's
said
got
was
145 in them.
Yeah. Assets.
Say.
Asset. But my favorite thing you just said is Gina's not really training, and that's why I can't take this fight too seriously.
Well, no, it's not serious.
And neither is Ronda. I mean,
of course not.
Ronda hasn't fought in 10 years.
Ronda said that this is a way to rewrite her legacy. Yeah, it's a way to go out on top. It's a way to go out with a win. That's rewriting the legacy. And then she's going to end, and it's one and done for Ronda. She wants to come in, fight Gina, beat Gina, retire with a win, and be like, yeah, I'm a badass, ha 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 ha. And then everybody will see it,
do you
too.
blame the UFC for not going into that Ronda game?
Hey, they wanted to. They were negotiating, but they were asking for too much money, apparently. The UFC doesn't want to pay. The UFC does not want to pay.
I mean, I don't think Ronda was worth the investment. John Jones, yes, I agree. I don't think Ronda versus because that's the thing. If you sign Ronda, she only wants to fight Gina. She probably doesn't want to fight anybody else. So then you got to throw also. But so
I
if
get
I'm the
it.
UFC,
From the
I
UFC's
say thank you, Ronda. You helped us a lot in the past, but go make some money somewhere else.
Sure, it makes sense for them to not want to do this fight, but John Jones, like, come on. There's no reason why they wouldn't want John Jones to fight for them. And the fact that Dana is saying, "Oh, he's too hurt, he's whatever," and I
think Dana said that John Jones was never his friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa,
exactly. He didn't really say that.
Somebody asked Francis Ngannou about legacy, saying, "Oh, what do you think about people that say you ruined your UFC career or your legacy after leaving the UFC?" Right? Talking flower, and he says, you can't go to the store and pay with legacy. This is bullshit. Promotions feed fighters that they're fighting for legacy. Good for you. Keep the legacy. Give me my pay. 100%.
He's got a point.
He's 100%.
But this is where I was going to get at.
People will try to tell you that they're giving you legacy, they're giving you an opportunity, they're giving you exposure, when really they just don't want to pay you. They don't want to pay you. You know how many times I was told in the radio business, well, this is good. You get good exposure. And I'm like, yeah, but what about the money? They're like, well,
the dineros, man.
People, exposure, and then exposure doesn't pay the bills, brother.
Listen, and that's what I'm getting at. I mean,
fuck your legacy. Show me the money. And Ngannou is making money. The great Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig told Brock Lesnar and many other people. Brock Lesnar wrote about it in his book because he loved Kurt Hennig, okay? Kurt Hennig said, there's only two real things in the pro wrestling business, the money and the miles. And that's the same in MMA, brother. And guess what? Pro wrestlers and MMA fighters, you may not like it, you may not agree with it, but you're in the same business, and you have the same boss.
Yeah.
So you better learn to work together, or you might be in some trouble.
You got a point, Dave, but hear me out.
The only thing that's real is the money and the miles. The miles on the road, the miles on your body, and the money in your bank account. That's the only thing that's real. The titles, the legacy, the exposure, the main events, it's all bullshit. Because the next year, somebody else has it, and it's not you, and you're forgotten. But if you have the money, if you're comfortable, if you're, as GSP says, healthy and wealthy, you're doing all right. So Francis Ngannou, healthy and wealthy. George St. Pierre, healthy and wealthy. He went out on top. UFC didn't want him to go out on top. Went out on top. Khabib Nurmagomedov, healthy, wealthy. That's how you got to get out of this sport. But,
But Dave, let's hear me out on this. And I agree with you. You're absolutely right. 100% right. And the thing with Ngannou, I mean, we're talking about Ngannou now, but that's only because of the fact that Jake Paul and his brother open up the MVP league, and Ngannou has that opportunity to come in and fight for some dineros. But if MVP was not there, he'd probably be talking a different game with Dana White. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, how relevant is he to a lot of UFC fans? You know what I'm saying? We know him. He's going to get to MVP and he's going to build his name again, and he's going to get his dineros. And I agree with you. You know, healthy and wealthy is the game. But what I think what they should have done with Ronda Rousey and, maybe some other fighters from the past is that if you're going to have a BMF belt, why not put another belt where it can bring in those dineros, like the legacy belt? You bring in two fighters like a Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano. You put them in for the legacy belt. They're two fighters, win or lose, people want to see. But just for her to walk away with the legacy belt, it creates this thing because the legacy belt is not based on a continuous.
No, man. We just talked about how the BMF belt doesn't mean anything. But
you bring in the legacy belt, and that's how you keep them. Coming back.
Ridiculous.
No, man, I'm not, man, because you know what? They're doing it at the MVP right now.
I don't think
Jake
you need
Paul's
a belt.
Gonna win.
I don't think you need a belt. I think you could have those fights, but I don't think you need a belt for them.
You put a belt, you call it the legacy division, the legacy belt, and it's like that one-off, man. And people want to see that. I'm telling you.
Listen, Ronda's not going to fight a second time.
No, Ronda's not fighting anymore. This is it.
But that's what I'm trying to say.
The UFC has never been about these fights, right? When you want to see those type of fights, historically, they've been in a Strikeforce or a Bellator or a Pride or, you know what I mean? Or what was it? Dream,
I mean, the UFC has had their share of freak
these
fights, like James Toney and CM Punk and other guys.
That's true, but it's pretty rare.
Today,
they don't do it very often.
Doesn't make sense.
They don't do it as much as they could, right? Like, they could do a lot more of those weirdo fights, but they shy away from them for the most part because they try to keep it like a legitimate sport. Even though now, who knows what they're doing? Like, now they're not really giving us a legitimate sport. They're not giving us the number one versus number two. And they're also not giving us, like, the fun freak show fights. They're just kind of giving us something in between. Fights that they think will be good matchups, like fun fights, like in the cage. But when that doesn't actually deliver, what do you get? You get Holloway and Oliveira, which is not good. Like, if you're not going to give us, like, the crazy superstars, if you're not going to give us the best versus the best, what are you really giving us? And that's where the UFC is right now. They're giving us nothing. They're giving us nothing. That's what I feel about the White House card. Like, man, a couple years ago, the UFC was rolling. Ever since they got bought out and taken over, it's just... WWE's in the same boat. It's just kind of maximizing profits and limiting the long-term growth of the sport. Ronda Rousey also speaking out about the UFC. I have much love and respect for Dana White. I wanted to bring this to him first, talking about the fight with Gina. I know I can do this on my own, but I'd rather do this for you than just for me. We're going to do it on New Year's Eve. It was going to be the last fight on the pay-per-view model, and I was so grateful. But Gina said she needed more time to get into the best shape possible and be the best version of herself, and that was fate and meant to be. Once the UFC moved into the streaming model, it's not about putting on the best fights possible anymore. Unfortunately now, they've taken the reins of the company away from him. It's barely recognizable now. They need to be saving themselves, and luckily I'm here to be their hero. So I just think one of those points is very relevant. Once the UFC moved into the streaming model, it's not about putting on the best fights possible anymore. Huh?
It's not the one about being a hero.
No, that one's weird. That's just Ronda bullshit. But like it's true. The UFC got their $7 billion from Paramount. They have no incentive to put on big fights. They get their money no matter what. They used to have a pay-per-view model where they needed to sell pay-per-views. So they had to pay fighters what they wanted to get them on pay-per-view so they could make money. That's how they made money off the broadcasting. But now they've made their money off their broadcasting. They're good. Now, like if you pay me $7 billion to do a show for the next 5 years, right? But you tell me now Fred and AJ, they want $15 million a year. But then I got some other guy who's willing to do it for $20,000 a year. Well, guess what? Fred and AJ may be the best guys possible to do this job. And I may like Fred and AJ better, and the fans may like Fred and AJ better, and fans may want to see Fred and AJ. But guess
Careful,
what?
Man.
But guess
man.
what?
Yeah.
Don't hurt us.
Guess what, guys?
Feelings.
It's still the Ringside Report Network. It's still Dave. We're still talking about MMA. Some faces have changed. They're newer faces. They're not bad faces. They're just not as good as Fred and AJ.
And
but guess what? They're way cheaper, and I'm making all the money.
That's not cool, Dave. That's not
Well,
cool.
that's what I'm
going to
do.
Feelings.
I'm going to do exactly what the UFC would do. So if we start making big money, guys, don't ask for a big salary increase because you're not getting it. I will replace you. No, you know what? I wouldn't because I want to put out the best possible product because I'm more focused on putting on the best possible product than making money, obviously. So I'm not the UFC.
I think me and AJ need to start right away doing what the UFC fighter maybe should do right now is start a union. So AJ, we'll talk about it after the show.
Two-man union. That's going to be great. You and Johnny North. Johnny North can join. You can all go on strike.
Exactly.
We got to get
my brother to turn against me and join that union, though. I think I got him. He's going to be a scab.
Yeah, but I think we only need like half of the crew, and we could set the union. That's like the rules. So,
you're all fired. I'm putting you on lockout
we got
like the
Johnny,
Major League Baseball owner.
This is the last show.
I need a salary cap.
Last show of the year.
But okay, so for years, I wasn't really a fan of maybe unionizing for the UFC, but maybe now is the time because the pay-per-view model is gone, so the incentive of winning, of selling fights is not really there. So maybe now it's time to find a way to get their fair share of the revenues. But I'm going to go back to what I always say.
I think UFC fighters and WWE wrestlers should all unionize together.
Union or no union,
that'd be crazy.
Fighters need to put the numbers out there. Be honest. Tell how much you make. Like that, if Justin Gaethje gets X amount, Ilya Topuria can say, hey, I deserve more. And if Ilya Topuria gets this amount, well, Conor McGregor would say, hey, I'm selling more pay-per-views. I should get this. But if everything is always kept in secret, man, that's not helpful to your cause. So I would tell the fighters, get the numbers out there. That's how you're going to increase it. Talk about it.
Yep. I agree. Hey, do you see the UFC? They're sending fighters to train the FBI in combat.
Yes, I saw that. A 2-week program.
While at the same time, the FBI is supposedly investigating the UFC and fighters for fight fixing. No conflict there. It's all good. It's fine.
Listen, man, you got to train the guys. Make them do capoeira.
I mean, the FBI signed a contract. They're paying the UFC to train, to send fighters, to train their people while they're also investigating some fight. Okay, sure, it's all fine. Whatever. Ronda Rousey continued and says,
what you said about Valentina?
The world is so crazy I can't even start. It used to be that the UFC was the best place that you could come in combat sports to make a living and be paid fairly, and now it's one of the worst places to go. It's why so many other top athletes are leaving to go and find pay elsewhere. These people, a lot of them at the ground level, they can't support their families. They're living poverty level fighting full time. This company just got $7.7 billion. There's no reason they can't afford to pay their athletes at least a living wage, and not even that, to at least be able to match what these athletes are making in other sports. Why would they expect to get the best athletes and the best inspiring kids that want to be something into MMA? Why not go into football? Why not go into boxing? Why not go into anything else?
True.
Not growing the sport. You're not growing the sport.
True.
She's exactly right. So they're bleeding talent because of their short-term greed. They're thinking about the next quarter. They're thinking about the shareholders. They're not thinking about their responsibility to be stewards of the future of the sport. And I agree with that 100%. And that's a disappointment. As a person that loves the sport and has seen the sport grow to where it is, I think growth needs to continue. Every sport is trying to grow the sport. No matter how big and popular a sport is, every sports league does things to help grow that sport. I am not seeing that from the UFC or the WWE, quite frankly. But every other sports league, they're trying to grow. They're trying to grow the game. Look at the World Baseball Classic, Major League Baseball, trying to grow the game, trying to get more people involved in baseball internationally. And it's working. This tournament has been fantastic. Canada.
Italy.
Italia. Unbelievable.
Not in
Espresso
soccer,
shots
but in
the dugout.
baseball.
What a team.
Well, you got a point there, Dave.
The
and you're
UFC
right.
is not growing the
You're
sport.
absolutely right. And you know what? If you look at hockey and you look at the Olympics and you look at the U.S. team that won the gold, I mean, you got to look at like the levels of players that they're developing at the high school levels, at the college levels. They're injecting money. They're growing the sport. They're making it accessible to a lot of kids. I mean, this is where we lost our track here in Canada. But you're right. You want a sport to grow, you got to make it, interesting enough to want to get into. Just like golf and baseball. I mean, the salaries are through the roof, but
I mean, the NFL does games in Europe. You know what I mean? They're trying to grow their sport. NFL, as big as it is, they go international, trying to grow the sport everywhere.
There's huge fans in Europe, like in Italy, in Ireland.
To be fair, the
UFC
is going to Singapore, China, and a bunch of other places.
But they did. But you're right, Fred. They did open up like a few facilities, like the UFC Apex. The UFC Performance Center out in China. They opened it up in Shanghai. They opened it up in a couple of other places in the world. So
But
this is how you grow the sport.
Again, if you're a kid in any country and you're athletic and you're like a really good athlete and you're trying to make money in sports, MMA is not the best avenue. Like, she's right. Go into boxing because you're going to make way more money boxing.
Well, you will, but like the thing is that, Conor McGregor came into the UFC, probably one of the biggest names in sports in the last, I'd say, 20 years. The biggest name in sports around the world. And you can't say that for any other sports. Not baseball, not hockey, not football. Around the world, Conor McGregor was known to the sports fan and the non-sports fan, which is actually sort of a detriment because he made so much money. So people think, that UFC fighters make a hell of a lot of money. But in reality, people forget that Conor McGregor's first fight in the UFC was $5,000. And he had bills through the roof. By the time he paid off everything, he had nothing. And, if it wasn't for his wife to push him to continue, we would have never seen Conor's status. And that's the problem with the UFC. They got it. You're right, Dave, 100%. You don't inject money, eventually the sport will die. Kind of like boxing got, I love boxing, but
let me just give you one example from Conor McGregor's UFC career. You remember when he wins a fight early in his UFC career, but he's still in the major leagues of MMA, right? This is the top level of the sport. And he wins a fight, and he goes, Dana, 50 G's, baby! You remember that? 50 G's, baby?
50 G's, yeah.
Picture any other pro athlete in any other pro sport being excited about $50,000.
And think about it, Dave. Just hold that thought for a second.
If you're a Major League Baseball player and you get $50,000, it doesn't even register. You're like, yeah, whatever. You're so, you know what I mean? Like, UFC fighters get $50,000 and go, oh, shit. NHL players get $50,000 and go, whatever, dude. It's like a night out.
Yeah, it's like, okay, give it to charity. But the thing is that what year did he say that? What year?
Well, it was a long time ago, but that's not the point.
Say about 10 years ago, right? The very first UFC fight in 1990, what was it, 91?
93.
Okay, 93. The very first UFC fight, UFC 1, the payout was $50K.
Mm-hmm.
$50K. So, like, there's something wrong here. You know, you go from 1993 to 2015, 2016. There's a problem here.
Well, I'll tell you, speaking, I talked about the World Baseball Classic. The players, if they win, like if you win, each player, like if you're on the winning team, you get $50,000. They're not paid very much to play this tournament. But a lot of them play in the major leagues, so that, they're all right. Some of them don't. Is that bad? Is that fair? I don't know. All right, guys. Team Canada, though, advancing in the World Baseball Classic. They're playing Team USA tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the quarterfinals. It's a massive game. I don't know. Maybe Canada could win. When this tournament began, I broke it down, and I said, okay, I'm looking at the groups. I'm looking at how it all shook out. And I was like, okay, if Team Canada can somehow get runner-up in our group, because we had Cuba and Puerto Rico, like it was kind of a tough group. If we could get runner-up, we would face the winner of the Team USA group, which was probably going to be Team USA, and we would face Team USA in the quarterfinals. So I kind of imagined that the best-case scenario for Canada would be us getting runner-up and facing USA in the quarterfinals. Never did I imagine that Canada would beat Colombia, lose to Panama 4-3 somehow in like a rain delay mess of a game, which, but then beat Puerto Rico and beat Cuba to win the group, which I was like, oh, cool. Canada's going to win the group. Now we don't have to face USA because USA is not going to be the runner-up in their group. They're going to surely win their group. Wrong. USA loses to Italy, winds up being the runner-up in their group. Italy wins their group. So, I don't know. Maybe Canada didn't want to play Italy because Italy's just on a roll right now. But, like, I don't think Canada wants to play USA either. Either way, we got to deal with the USA tomorrow. Not in a million years would I have imagined that Canada would win their group and USA would not win their group. And then we'd face USA in the quarterfinals that way. But I've been really enjoying Team Canada baseball. It feels good to root for, like, a Team Canada. I never really give a shit about Team Canada in any sport, But, like, Canada baseball, it's kind of relatable. I'm watching the game. I was watching the game with my son the other day, and I was like, hey, see the first base coach over there? He's like, yeah. I'm like, when I went to summer camp in the summertime, that guy was my counselor. And he's like, what? I was like, yeah.
What?
That's Russell Martin. He used to play for the Blue Jays.
Oh, Russell Martin, yeah. Didn't he get drafted by the Expos originally?
Yeah. But my son thought it was pretty cool that my camp counselor was the first base coach for Team Canada.
Pretty cool, man.
Yeah. I mean, NDG baseball, Diamond Champions. His father, Russ Sr.
There was a whole bunch of guys.
NDG legend, Russ Martin Sr. Russ Jr. was cool,
guys.
but
there was
Russ
Mirabella,
Sr.
remember?
Was a bad man.
Remember Mirabella, and then there was Calari, and all those guys were from Montreal. They were NDG boys.
Sure.
No, Mirabella, I think, was from St. Leonard. But, yeah, right. Man, wow, you're bringing back memories, Dave.
Anyways, I hope Team Canada wins tomorrow against Team USA. I know it's a long shot, but honestly, I think they got a shot. And
it'd be good for Baseball Canada, man.
It is good. And thank you, everybody. I think I'm being told to shut the show down. You want to say goodnight? Say goodnight. Say goodnight.
You're so cute.
She's not saying goodnight. Now she's shy.
Aww.
You were talking before.
Don't be
now you
shy.
don't want to talk? Say goodnight. Say show's over. Say show's over, people.
Calanita.
No?
Hasta luego.
Say it. Show's over, people. She's not saying
The show
it.
is over.
All right. I'll be back tomorrow with Johnny North to talk pro wrestling.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word. Please share this episode on whichever social media platform you use. add a comment below, and consider reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at